Mr. Sandman, bring me some sleep and all the shadows that crawl and creep. Take back the hands that clutch and smother, and give me a night that won't pull me under. Sandman, I'm so alone, lost in a place where nightmares have grown. Cast out the dark where terrors gleam. Mr. Sandman, where are my dreams? Mr. Sandman, bring me release. Silence the whispers that never cease. Give me a word that I'm not forsaken, and tell me this nightmare will soon be shaken. Sandman, I'm so alone, trapped in this place where shadows have grown. Please turn on your guiding beam, oh Mr. Sandman, let me please dream. Mr. Sandman, pull me to sleep. Give me a pair of eyes that no longer weep. Take this lonely heart, hollow and aching, and mend it before the dawn is breaking. Mr. Sandman, pull me from cold, guide me through darkness, steady and bold. Banish the fears that endlessly stream, oh Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
It was in those wretched moments between wakefulness and the wane of sleep that I first tasted true terror. My limbs, once so obedient, now shackled by an unseen weight, lay useless upon the bed. I sought in vain to lift but a finger, to command my body to rise, but no! I was imprisoned in my own flesh, the breath still within me, yet no power to summon even the slightest movement. What devilry was this? The first wave of panic slithered up my chest, tightening like a noose. My heartbeat, once steady, now raced in frantic beats that echoed in my ears. I could feel every bead of sweat pooling on my skin, the warm trickle down my temples, yet I was powerless to wipe it away. My throat tightened, as though something unseen had seized it, rendering me mute, and still my eyes remained open, betraying me to the shapes that twisted in the darkness. Was that not, yes, a shadow, malformed, grotesque, lurking in the corner? Or had my mind, in its weakness, begun to betray me? What would Mother say? It's only a dream, she would whisper, smoothing my hair with gentle fingers, her voice a balm against the nightmares. Nightmares are just tricks of the mind, nothing more. But this was no ordinary dream. Her voice, how I clung to it, now faded like a candle's dying flame, drowned out by the growing drumbeat of my fear. My heart pounded so violently, I feared it would burst. My body was a prison, and I, its helpless prisoner, calm. I must calm myself, I thought, desperate to summon her words to soothe the storm rising within me. But her wisdom, once so solid, now slipped like sand through my fingers. The shadows stretched, gnarled fingers creeping closer, and with them, the cold grip of terror tightening around my chest.
I found terror's twisted call. My body chained, my voice held tight. In shadows thick I faced the night. A whisper once that brought me peace, now lost within this darkened lease. The echoes of a mother's grace, fading in this hollow place. Oh, I can't move, I can't cry out. The darkness knows my name, no doubt. The shadows reach with gnarled hands, and I alone can barely stand. My body's mine, but not tonight. I'm caught beneath the seventh sight. Breathless whispers, shadows loom. I'm trapped between the wake and gloom. I see the forms within the dark, figures twisted, features stark. Is it real or just my mind playing tricks on me this time? My heartbeat's drum is all I know, panic rising from below. Mother's voice is fading still, her gentle calm and empty well. Oh, I can't move, I can't cry out. The darkness knows my name, no doubt. The shadows reach with gnarled hands, and I alone can barely stand. My body's mine, but not tonight. I'm caught beneath the seventh sight. Breathless whispers, shadows loom. I'm trapped between the wake and gloom. It's only a dream, she said, but I can feel the cold, the dread. I fight the night, I fight to breathe. Her words are lost, they slip and leave. The panic grows and owns my chest. The shadows want what I possess. I cling to hope, her gentle tone, but in this terror I'm Oh, I can't move, I can't cry out. The darkness knows my name, no doubt. The shadows reach with gnarled hands, and I alone can barely stand. My body's mine, but not tonight. I'm caught beneath the Sandman sight. Breathless whispers, shadows loom. I'm trapped between the wake and gloom. And when morning breaks, will I be free, or still ensnared by misery? I close my eyes, I say her name, and hope the dawn will end this sky.
It's only a dream. Her voice echoed in the hollow recesses of my mind. A voice that once could quiet the fiercest of storms within me. It hovered, gentle but fleeting, offering a lifeline I couldn't grasp. My mind clung to the memory of her touch, her soft hand brushing the hair from my forehead as she whispered soothing words. But the comfort that once filled me now evaporated, drowned in the rising tide of terror. Something stirred deep within me. Beneath the fear, beneath the growing sense of helplessness, something primal, a desperate determination. My mind screamed where my throat could not. I would not be held here, trapped in this body, in this state. I could feel the rising surge of defiance, like a dam about to break. Every fiber of my being surged with the need to move, to scream, to tear my way out of this suffocating prison.
Oh, It's only a dream, that's what she used to say. A whisper of hope in the dark, where shadows sway. Her touch on my brow like a soft lullaby, but now it fades away while I feel the terror rise. I see the chains that bind me, feel the shadows closing in. But deep within there's fire, an ember that won't dim. Rise, rise, the warriors of the night. We will not be silent, we'll blaze into the fight. When fear tries to chain us, we'll break the iron bars. 1,000 voices echo, we're reaching for the stars. A hollow call resounds, but I will not give in. A force within me stirs, demanding to begin. I feel my mother's voice, a distant guiding light. And though her hands are gone, her courage makes me fight. No longer will I tremble, no longer will I bow. A dam inside is breaking, we're rising up right now. Rise, rise, the warriors of the night. We will not be silent, we'll blaze into the fight. When fear tries to find us, we'll break the iron bars. 1,000 voices echo, we're reaching for the stars. No longer will I tremble, no longer will I bow. A dam inside is breaking, we're rising up right now. Rise, rise, the warriors of the night. We will not be silent, we'll blaze into the fight. When fear tries to find us, we'll shatter every chain. This is the anthem for hearts that won't be tamed. Can you feel it? The earth starts to quake. The fear in their eyes, every shadow will break. Hands that held us down, they will fall one by one. Like the dawn that breaks the night, we'll rise with the sun. Rise, rise, my brothers and my kin. We'll shatter this darkness, let the new age begin. Our hearts a battle drum, our voice a call to arms. In the face of fear and shadow, we are the storm that comes.
Move! Scream! My mind bellowed, though my mouth remained silent. My body, bound and locked, refused to obey. A fire roared within me, a need so urgent it was as though I would leap from my very skin just to free myself from the invisible chains. My limbs burned with the desire to thrash, to strike out, to throw myself from the bed. Yet still I lay there, motionless, suffocating beneath the weight of whatever malevolent force gripped me. And then I saw them, the shadows, once mere formless shapes in the corners of my vision, now slithered into view, taking form, taking shape. My breath caught in my throat as I watched, wide-eyed, as the darkness itself birthed hands-long skeletal fingers stretching toward me from all directions. Cold as death, they pressed down on my chest, on my arms, my legs, every inch of my body trapped beneath their suffocating grip. These hands, they were the reason. It was them all along. It was these hands that held me down. Panic swelled in my gut, twisting and coiling like a serpent as the hands multiplied, one after another, crawling from the shadows, grasping tighter, pressing harder. They had been there all along, lurking just beyond the edge of my sight, waiting for me to notice. Now I could not escape them. My mind whirled, trapped between terror and the desperate need to escape. to flee from these phantoms that bound me so cruelly to the bed. And yet, despite all my will, all my thrashing thoughts, my body remained still, a helpless victim to the nightmare made real.
Scream, but I can't make a sound. Bound tight, these chains, they drag me down. A fire burning underneath my skin. I'm locked inside and I can't begin. My mind's alive, but my body's stone. A hollow silence, yet I'm not alone. The dark is shifting, taking form. Long shadows creeping, coming to swarm. I see them now, no longer unknown. Hands from the shadows, cold as the stone. Fingers of darkness crawling so slow. Tighten their grip, won't let me go. Oh, it's them, they've always been here. Clawing and creeping from nightmares I fear. Pressing down, heavy hands cold on my chest. Holding me hostage, denying me rest. Oh, it's them, my screams never come. Stranded in silence, no place left to run in the void. Uncoil, strapped in the night, my body's betrayed. I'm caught in their toils. Shadows spread, fingers crawling near. Empty sockets hollow with fear. I see them coming, I feel their weight. 1,000 hands reaching, sealing my fate. Panic twisting in my gut like a snake. Cold sweat dripping, but I never lurking beyond, waiting for me to notice what's wrong. I feel their touch, they're pressing me down. Every inch of my body, a silent battleground. I'm drowning in shadows, no air left to breathe. Caught in their snare, nowhere to leave. Oh, it's them, they never relent. Crushing me down till my will is spent. I feel the darkness wrapped tight around my throat. Nightmare with no way to float. Oh, it's them, my screams turn to dust. Trapped in this silence, a fear born of trust. In the void, in the dark, they pull me below. Bound by their whispers, I sink in their shadow. So tell me, where do I go from here? Locked in this silence, locked in my fear. Hands on my chest, they rise and they fall. Twisted phantoms holding me, I feel so small. How do I break this curse of the night? How do I pull myself into the light? The weight is crushing, but I still fight on. Even in darkness, I know there's a dawn. Oh, it's them, they've always been near. Holding me hostage in nightmares unclear. Pressing down, heavy hands cold on my skin. I'm a prisoner to the darkness I've fallen in. Move, scream, but I can't make a sound. Locked in the silence, so dark and profound. This day I'll rise, break the dark that remains, and in the morning light be free from these chains. Move, scream, but I can't make a sound. Locked in a silence so dark and profound. This day I'll rise, break the dark that remains, and in the morning light be free from these chains.
Then, as suddenly as it began, the grip of the shadows loosened. Like a great weight lifted from my chest, I felt the air rush into my lungs, my limbs jolting back to life. I could move again. With a start, I leapt from the bed, stumbling in my haste, my body still sluggish from the terror that had only just relinquished its hold on me. My heart raced, the remnants of fear still coursing through my veins. But now I could run. I did not think, did not hesitate. My feet moved of their own accord, carrying me swiftly down the darkened hallway toward my mother's room. Her Her touch, surely. She would make sense of this madness. Surely. She would ease the tremors that still racked my body. I burst through the door, breathless, and there she lay, peaceful, as though unaware of the horrors that had so recently gripped me. She lay on her side, her back turned to me, the soft rise and fall of her breathing almost a lullaby. "Mother?" My voice trembled, a fragile whisper in the silence. I outstretched my hand, desperate for her comfort, for the warmth of her hand in mine. As my fingers brushed her shoulder, she stirred. Slowly, too slowly, she rolled over, her face turning to meet mine. But it was not her face. No, it was a mask, a face that belonged not to my mother, but to some grotesque parody of a clown. Not a face painted in jest or joy, but a stiff, lifeless thing. Plastic, cheap and hollow, like the masks children wear for Halloween. The kind you see dangling from store shelves, eye holes wide and empty. Its expression was neither fearful nor joyful. It simply was. Unblinking, unmoving. It stared up at me. The plastic surface gleaming faintly in the dim light. I recoiled, my breath catching in my throat, the room spinning around me. This too was a trick, a torment devised by whatever cruel force sought to unravel my mind. And then I awoke, for real this time. Or was it? The sheets were tangled around me, my body drenched in sweat, and yet everything felt wrong. I sat upright, my hands trembling, my heart still racing. Was I truly awake, or had this nightmare only deepened? I could not trust the world around me, could not trust my own senses.
The weight is gone, I gasp for air. My feet are moving, I don't know where. Dark halls stretch on, the shadows sway. Her voice will guide me, keep fear at bay. I call your name, but shadows stay. A ghostly hush keeps you away. Through trembling hands I plead, through the dark I sow my need. She stirs, she turns, but not to me. Her face a mask, no eyes to see. The lifeless stare, the plastic gleam. Is this a trick, a nightmarish scheme? Breathless whispers in my head. Is she gone? Are you dead? Plastic laughter fills the air. This torment I can't bear. Awake again, or is it a lie? Sheets tangle round me, shadows sigh. Is this my world? Can I believe? Or does the mask still wait for me? The silence lingers, shadows stay. Whispered fears that won't decay. Eyes wide open, I lie awake, unsure if this world is real or fake. silence lingers, shadows stay, whispered fears that won't decay. Eyes wide open, I lie awake, unsure if this world is real or fake.
I shivered, pulling my knees to my chest, the fear still gripping me tight. I reached out blindly, fumbling for the small book on the nightstand, an old children's book about manners, the kind my mother would read to me as a child. It had always soothed me before, its simple words, its gentle lessons. But now, as I turned its pages, my hands still shook. I sat there, alone in the silence, the words swimming before my eyes. Each line was a whisper, a prayer, an attempt to quiet the storm raging in my mind. But the doubt still lingered, gnawing at the edges of my thoughts. Could I trust what I saw? Was this too part of the dream? I was only 9 years old then. Just a child, trembling beneath the weight of fears I couldn't yet comprehend. That night, with its tangled dreams and monstrous hands, felt like the very embodiment of terror, an inescapable nightmare that clung to me even after I awoke. If I had known then what awaited me in the years to come, perhaps my heart would have shattered under the weight of that knowledge. For that night, oh, how innocent it was compared to what followed. How gentle. The hands, the plastic face of the clown, the inability to discern what was real and what was part of the dream. It would all come to seem tame, kind even. I could not have imagined it at the time. But that sequence of dreams, what I thought then was my worst torment, was merely a shadow of the horrors that would soon plague my sleep. I would have been horrified to know that one day I would reflect on that night with something like fondness, as though it were a memory of a milder time, of gentler dreams. Had I known the truth, that this was but the beginning, I doubt I would have survived the years that followed. The true terror, the kind that seizes your very soul, had not yet revealed itself.
I shiver alone, my knees to my chest, fear like a shadow stealing my rest. Fingers fumble for words on the page, a child seeking solace, a mind in a cage. Gentle words, a lullaby I read to calm the storm inside my head. Can I trust what I see, what I feel? Is this the dream or is it real? yet unseen.
Sleep, that most elusive of creatures, how it taunted me. I stood on the very precipice of its dark embrace, poised to fall, yet held fast suspended, as though some unseen force refused to let me descend. My mind, though weary beyond measure, wouldn't allow me the comfort of oblivion. Oh, what cruelty is this, to be so near and yet denied. The room, that familiar cell of torment, seemed to shrink around me, the walls pressing in with every breath, every flicker of thought. My body, too, was a traitor in this infernal game tense, restless, as though preparing for some great exertion, when all I longed for was stillness. Every muscle quivered with the anticipation of sleep, yet no peace came. It was as if the very fibers of my being were at odds with one another, each seeking release, yet none finding it. The clock's insidious ticking. A sound I'd once found comforting now mocked me with its ceaseless rhythm. Each tick was a step toward a rest I could not reach. My bed, once a haven, had become a prison of tangled sheets and fevered thoughts. I tossed, I turned, seeking some position, some angle that might deliver me unto sleep. But no, the effort was in vain, for the more I sought it, the further it fled. I hovered on the edge of that sweet abyss, yet I could not fall. My eyes, heavy with exhaustion, would begin to close, only to snap open again in defiance of the slumber I so desperately craved. It was as though some foul, cosmic joke had been played upon me, trapping me in this purgatory of wakefulness.
Sleep, you wretched taunting ghost, hovering near but never close. A breath away, a cruel disguise. My body shakes, my spirit cries. The walls close in, the room grows small. I seek the fall, but I can't fall. Each muscle tense, a silent plea. Stillness escapes, it laughs at me. Tick, tick, the clock unwinds. A prison forged of fractured minds. Toss and turn, my thoughts betray. Sleep eludes, it slips away. This bed, a cage of tangled sheets, a restless heart that pounds, repeats. My eyes so heavy start to close, but open wide. They won't repose, the room conspires. My mind's on foe. A cruel yes, I've come to know. The harder I chase, the further it flies. I scream inside, but silence replies. Tick, tick, the clock unwinds. A prison forged of fractured minds. Toss and turn, my thoughts betray. Sleep eludes, it slips away. I hover close to darkness deep, where peace should lie in endless sleep. But shadows whisper, hold me tight, refusing still the gift of night. Hey! I linger still, a restless soul denied its will. Sleep, that cruel, elusive prey, laughs as I suffer, night turns to day.
And then my thoughts turn to that wretched creature, the Sandman, that fabled bringer of sleep, that nocturnal warden who sprinkles his enchanted dust upon the weary, guiding them into the arms of dream. But where was he now? Where was his mercy for me, his servant, his loyal supplicant? What had I done to offend him so grievously that he would abandon me to this endless vigil? Had I not honored the night, respected its quietude, cherished its dark and solemn hours? What transgression had I committed to deserve this cruel exile? I could imagine him now, hovering just beyond the veil of my consciousness, watching with cold indifference as I writhed in the clutches of sleeplessness. Ah, Sandman, wretched, pitiless fiend, what offence have I given thee, that thou should leave me thus forsaken and abandoned? Have I not earned the balm of rest, the sweet release of forgetfulness? Or is it thy will that I remain here, trapped on this razor's edge, forever longing for that which I cannot attain? I cursed him then, in the silence of my heart, if he would not come to me, if he would not grant me the gift of sleep. Then let him stay away. Let him take his cursed dust and leave me to my fate. But even as I thought it, the ache in my limbs and the weight in my chest betrayed my defiance. For despite all, despite my anger, I still longed for his touch, still craved the very thing I despised.
Where is the Sandman? Where did he go? I'm lost in the night with no dreams to show. Darkness surround me, but no peace to find. What sin have I committed to be left behind? Just let me sleep. Take me or leave me, I'll keep on this fight. Cursing your absence, longing each night. Oh, Sandman, leave or stay. I'll still call for your grace anyway.
And so I lay there, stretched out between the waking world and that shadowed realm of dreams, unable to cross the threshold, tormented by the very nearness of it. I was trapped in an endless limbo, each moment stretching into eternity, while sleep cruel, mocking sleep remained just out of reach. And so it came to pass, in the depths of that sleepless night, that my contempt for the Sandman grew into something far darker, far more determined. His absence was no longer a mere slight, no mere negligence of duty, no, it was an act of war. War waged upon me, upon my very soul, and I would not suffer it in silence. Is this how it shall be? I muttered in the stillness of my mind. Am I to be abandoned to the cruel whims of this tyrant of the night? To be left stranded sleepless, while the rest of the world succumbs to his enchantments? No more. No more. The heat of anger flared in my chest, burning brighter than the dull ache of exhaustion. The Sandman, this despicable creature, thought himself untouchable, thought himself a master of my fate, a gatekeeper to the world of dreams. But I would show him. Yes, I would show him. He would rue the day he cast his curse upon me, left me to rot in this waking purgatory. For I would dedicate my life to the eradication of his kind. I would rid the world of the need for him and his accursed services. No longer would humankind be at the mercy of sleep, that fickle, elusive beast. No longer would we be bound by the chains of slumber, forced to lay down our heads at the whim of some invisible force. I would rise above it, I would conquer it. Sleep itself would become my enemy, and I its vanquisher. I vowed to learn, to understand every aspect of this curse, every mechanism, every reason, every failure of the body that made it crave this infernal rest. I would unlock its secrets, tear them from the clutches of the Sandman, and claim them as my own. I would dedicate myself to the study of sleep, to the mastery of the human condition. Yes, I would strip away the mystery, dismantle the need for sleep itself, and free mankind from the shackles of his dominion. No more would I lay here, helpless and weak, a prisoner to my own biology. No more would I wait in vain for his mercy. I would rise. I would overcome. My destiny, my life, would be a monument to the downfall of the Sandman and all he represented. For what is sleep but an obstacle to be overcome? A weakness of the flesh. And I would conquer it. I would rid myself of it, rid the world of its tyranny. It was no longer a question of mere survival. It was a question of triumph, of mastery over the most basic of human needs. But there was no time for this now. No time to let my mind wander into such grand visions. After all, I was no longer a child. I had just turned 12.
In the depths of sleepless nights, I found my rage. A tyrant left me stranded, locked inside his cage. The Sandman thought he'd break me, leave me torn apart. But now I forge rebellion, and I'll make my mark. No whispers in the darkness, no mercy for his kind. I'll burn away his shadows, no refuge will he find. Sleep shall be a battleground, no solace, no retreat. I'll tear down the gates of slumber till I'm standing on my feet. No more chains, no more dreams. I will rise against his schemes, waging war on all his to hell. He thinks he's the gatekeeper, ruler of my rest, but his kingdom's only ashes when I put him to the test. I'll banish all the nightmares, tear down his dreary throne. The master of my fate is the fire that I own. Sweet, sweet promise, a lie I now defy. I'll break his hold, I'll rise. I'll fight until the sky. I'll craft my own salvation, cast off the dark charade. My warpath laid in fire, and no fears left to be weighed. No more drifting, no surrender, no rest from the fight. I'll rise as the vanquisher in the endless night. Sandman, hear my promise, I'll take back my soul. With each breath, each heartbeat, I'll be in control.
And then it happened. A sound, so sudden, so vile, that it pierced through the veil of near sleep like a dagger to the mind. My body jolted, every nerve alight with irritation, a violent shudder passing through me as though struck by lightning. It was no nightmare, no figment of my troubled thoughts. No, this was something far more insidious, far more maddening. The sound again, closer this time, unmistakable in its purpose. The incessant, droning buzz of a common housefly, circling, mocking, daring to approach my ear. The audacity. My heart, already weary from the struggle with sleep, now beat with the fury of a storm, each thrum fueled by rage. I lay still at first, clenching my jaw, willing the infernal creature to disappear, to leave me in peace. But the buzzing persisted, relentless in its torment, as if the very air around me had been filled with the sound of my suffering. It was impossible to ignore this wretched beast, its wings a blur as it darted about with no care for the fragile thread of sleep I had so nearly grasped. The buzzing grew louder, nearer, closer to my ear, until it was as though the fly sought to burrow itself into my very skull. A surge of fury overtook me, so primal, so all-consuming, that I could no longer contain it. I leapt from my bed, swatting at the air, my hands moving with the speed of the desperate. Where was it? Where had it gone? My eyes scanned the room, wild with anger, searching every shadow, every corner for the intruder. It had disappeared. Oh, the cunning of it! But I knew it was near. I could feel its presence, lurking just out of sight, waiting to resume its torment. And so began the hunt, minutes, hours. I could not tell how long I searched. Time had lost all meaning in my fevered pursuit of the fly. Every corner of the room was overturned, every inch examined, every surface scoured for a trace of the winged fiend. And then, at last, I found it, there, perched on the windowsill, as though it had no care in the world, sat the wretched creature, oblivious to the wrath that had been stirred in me. I struck. My hand moved with the speed of righteous fury, and in one swift motion I ended its miserable existence. Silence fell. At long last, the buzzing had ceased, but my victory was hollow, for as I turned to survey the room, I saw it, the pale light of dawn creeping in through the curtains. The night had passed me by, and the sun had risen. I had lost. Once again, the Sandman had eluded me. I should have known. This was no mere coincidence. No chance encounter with a common pest. No, this was the Sandman's doing, his insidious revenge for my defiance. He had heard my declaration, my promise to overcome him, and he had accepted the challenge. The fly, that miserable creature, was his messenger, his agent of torment, sent to remind me of my powerlessness. But the day had begun, and I would not wallow in defeat. There was much work to be done, for the battle with the Sandman had only just begun.
Creeping through my mind, a sound so vile, tearing through the quiet night. I was almost there, slipping into peace, but the madness took hold, wouldn't let me release. The buzzing in my ear, crawling through my skin, tiny wings that mock, pulling rage from within. I clench my jaw, I hold my breath, but it's getting closer, it's pushing me to the edge. I feel the sting of madness rising like a tide, that tiny beast laughter echoing inside. My thoughts are swirling, the storm begins to churn, a fire in my veins, my patience starts to burn. It's driving me insane, the venom in my brain, leaping from my bed, swirling through the air, rage like lightning strikes, I'm tearing everywhere. It's dancing in the dark, a spark that lights the spark, time stops mattering, it's me against the noise, the hunt begins, I'll find it, I'll destroy. Eyes wide open, shadows all around, the echoes of its wings, a most maddening sound. I see it dart and dive, hiding out of sight. Its challenge is clear, tonight we fight. Every corner searched, every shadow turned, hands trembling, heart ablaze, every fiber burnt. The minutes stretch to hours, I'm stuck in this trance. There's nothing else, only the hunt, a maddened dance. There it is at last, sitting on the sill, breathing in the quiet, feeding on my will. Wrath in my eyes, my hand moves fast, the buzzing falls silent, I found peace at last. No longer drives me mad, it's over now, I'm glad. A jolt of righteous fury, my fingers came down strong, I've ended all the chaos, the buzzing's final song. Silence fills the air, the labyrinth isn't there, time begins again, I'm standing in the void, the world resumes its rhythm, and I've destroyed. The silence soothes my mind, the madness slowly fades, the shadows slink away, their game has now been played. I fall back to my bed with the buzzing finally gone, resting in the silence, the battle has been won.